learning so much. So it's a lot of fun.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Intimacy of Race Presents Coffee and Conversations. So glad you all could join us today. So whether you're watching live or on the replay, please make a comment, say hello, let us know where you're tuning in from, and just let us know pretty much what value you got out of this really intimate conversation about race. So, my guest this morning is Danielle Cook. And I just want to take a moment to read her bio to you. She's a marketing expert who loves to help brands break through the noise and speak to the heart of their ideal audience. And she is passionate about helping clients create strategic communication plans that still remain authentic to their values and goals. And that's actually what I love about Danielle, because she's made some powerful decisions in her business as a commitment not only to justice and equality, but staying authentic and true to her values and goals. And we're going to hear how she took a stand and actually lost some big clients with staying true and authentic to what's important to her. So welcome, Danielle. So I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your business and the type of clients that you attract.
Well, as you mentioned, I do marketing and PR, and especially with that comes a lot of content creation for our clients, a lot of helping them focus in on their tone, their voice, identifying who their ideal client is, and really creating content that is aligned with the client's value, but also is engaging for their audience. So I like to say that we are your business partner almost, because we become very, you link arms with my clients. I link arms with them, and I become very familiar with their brands, their voice, their messaging, and their hearts and their personal lives as well. And so I take it very seriously. It's a commitment. It's a commitment to their brand and to the growth of their business and to them as a person. And earlier this year, I was working with a client, and things were going really well. One of the things that I loved in particular about this client was that their commitment to generosity. Mm-hmm. They did a lot of campaigns where they would give away profit from the product that they sold. And they really wanted to communicate how much they cared for their community and how much they wanted to empower their community and how they wanted to be a force for the greater good in the world. So I really aligned with that. And it was really exciting to be a part of that, that project at first.
So I love this because you and I actually connected after I saw your post in another Facebook group about how you had to let that client go. And he was one, I don't remember. I think it was he, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. He was one of your bigger clients, not a lower level clients, but he was one of your major, financial clients for the growth of your business. So can you share with us a little bit about what went down with this gentleman?
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, he at the time was my highest paying client. And for any other small business owners out there, we know that when you're growing your business, you typically have these sort of anchor clients where the relationship and the revenue really helps anchor your business so that you can continue to grow. So, and this client had become sort of that one of my anchor clients. So, and then on top of it, I felt like at the time, our values were in alignment. As things started to kick up this past summer with the Black Lives Matter movement, with the marches and the demonstrations that were happening, and then of course the shutdowns that were happening with COVID, I started to notice that this client was posting on his personal Facebook page some content and some words that really didn't line up with who he said he was and who he said his business was and what his business stood for. A lot of what he was saying was implying that COVID was a hoax. And a lot of what he was saying was really against the movement for equality that Black Lives Matter stands for. And at first it was, at first his posts were kind of, how do I say this? A little more low key, a little more him venting frustration about the climate that we're all living in. And, he is a white male who is used to a certain amount of privilege in his life, as most, white people are. And I think that he, felt threatened and scared, honestly, as so many people were this past summer and still are.
Yeah.
And which is, legitimate when everybody else is, when there are movement rises up that says your worldview is wrong, I can understand that would feel very threatening. And so finally he posted a post on his personal Facebook page that, and let me clarify that his personal Facebook page did not have any privacy settings on it at all. So it wasn't like he was just sharing his opinion with his friends and his family or, his college buddies. Anybody and everybody could see his Facebook page. And so, and then on top of it, I was creating content related to his business that he would post on his personal Facebook page.
Okay, got it.
And so that was happening as well. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm just writing content for your business. Like, no, I'm writing business related content that you're also posting on your Facebook, specifically for your personal Facebook page. Finally, he wrote a post that was pretty blatant, anti the movement that was happening at the time.
So would you call it, he was making some racist statements kind of blatantly?
Absolutely. Yes. And I think that the tricky part is for those of us who have, who support the Black Lives Matter movement, who support the Black communities and their fight for justice. For many of us, we've had to walk through that season where we realize the things that we didn't think were racist actually are racist.
Yes.
And so whether it's because we grew up in a community that said those things, or we, for whatever reason, I think most white people have to come to a place in America where they realize, oh, I didn't realize that what I was saying was racist.
Yeah, there's a huge awakening and awareness that's happening on both sides, but especially for the white community, where they're being really made aware of what a microaggression is, what unconscious bias is, what it looks like. And it's surprising and it's shocking, and it's bringing up a lot of, a little bit of fear, shame, guilt around like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like, yeah, we get that. And, instead of living in the past, let's just want to get it right and not want to be right and defend ourselves about it. And let's just move on. Let's correct it. Thank you for letting me know. Let's move on really is the point of this Facebook group, is to really help people see where the blind spots are and help them become aware of where you benefit from racist ideas and how racism shows up in your life. And it sounds like you had an awareness too, not only within yourself and what you would no longer continue to do and how you want to get it right, but also, your client who was clearly not on that pattern of growth and awareness and change, but really stuck and in his defensive and in his being right and not wanting to really grow and develop in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, just to kind of what you were saying along the lines of we are becoming aware of our blind spots. I think a lot of people in the white community, they think, well, I'm not a KKK member. I don't use the N-word. I don't support segregation. And it can be easy for them to be in this like
denial.
denial because they don't understand how they benefit from systemic racism.
Yeah, and denial is part of that drumbeat that keeps racism going. And the sooner that, you know, people can get out of the denial and into an acceptance and awareness and a commitment to do better is really all we're asking. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I reached out to that client and I emailed him and I said, hey, I have noticed that you put this post on social media. On a personal level, I do not agree with what you're saying, but I'm happy to have that conversation offline. On a professional level, everything that you are saying does not line up with your business's values of generosity, kindness, and a sense of wanting to be a part of a bigger community and do better good. Everything about what you said is coming from a place of frustration and anger, and the words you are saying are divisive. And so I then went in to list a laundry list of here's what we need to do, you know, as someone who manages your communication to mitigate the damage you have done, and some steps I think we need to have moving forward. And then if you and I would like to have a personal conversation offline about our, you know, differences and beliefs, I would be happy to have that conversation with you.
Wow.
Long story short, the response was, I will not stop saying what I'm going to say on social media. I will not make any of the changes that you have suggested that we make. And if you have a problem with it and you need to walk away because of your personal beliefs, I respect that.
Okay.
And I found myself in a place of, okay, what am I going to do here? Like I mentioned earlier, he was an anchor client. I was dependent upon the revenue. And I had to make a choice in that moment. Who do I want to be? Do I want to be a woman of my word who is literally going to put my money, or in this case, lack of money, where my mouth is?
What was that quote that I stole from you? Not to let the wallet control the conversation. What was that? I wrote it down somewhere, but my office has changed. I don't know where anything is.
I had to make a point, a moment where I said, no, if we're going to create a change in the way we have these conversations, and we have to stop letting white men with wallets control the narrative.
That's so powerful. Guys, if you're listening to this on the replay, that's what I would call a writer downer, because when I first heard that from Danielle, I was like, wait, say it again. I got to write it down. Because that's really what's happening in our world as a whole. You know, it's very obvious. And, you know, I know that the female voice is going to be the voice that actually facilitates a sustainable transformation in what the narrative is. As long as we can be empowered to use our voice and make sure our voices are heard, and that we're seen, heard, and respected when we stand up in our communities and take a stand. So, you know, I commend you for what you did, but, you know, honestly, how scared were you?
I mean, I was pretty terrified. And it was at that moment I had to realize, do I believe in this concept of abundance, that the concept that there is enough? You know, I might have some financial needs met, but the drain on my soul, on my emotional energy from having to continue to work with this client, knowing that they are racist. You know, I don't think that he thinks he's racist. I think that he is, but to know that he is promoting a racist conversation even.
Yeah.
So, you know, I may not have paid for it as far as monetarily, but I would have paid for it other ways, because I think we as women, our greatest resource is our energy. And so do I want to spend my energy going and working and finding clients who align with my values and my passion and my purpose? Or do I want to spend my energy trying to walk a fence post to keep somebody who really is probably never going to be happy?
Yes. What what did you manifest out of that? Because you shared that experience. You shared
Yeah.
a post about it, a nice long post. And I was like, when I read it, I was like, wow. And I shared it in this group. And I know you got a lot of comments.
Sorry
Hey,
about that.
mother's in the house. Bring her in. We're all
It's okay. My babysitter's got her.
okay. I shared it in the community as an example of somebody really walking the talk and putting their money where their mouth is, or taking money out of feeding their mouths in that case. And tell me the response that you got after you shared that story and that experience.
Yeah, I didn't know what kind of response it was going to get. And I wrote it because I figured if I was in this position, then there are other content creators out there who must be facing the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote it as an encouragement to the other content creators, like, don't be afraid to walk away. I don't have all the answers yet, but I do know that my heart is 3 million times lighter. And so I wanted to write it as an encouragement to other content creators, like, do not, because what our businesses do is we essentially serve as a megaphone for the clients that we work with. And so if you're in charge of the megaphone, why are we going to give it to somebody who's spewing racist thoughts and words?
Exactly.
So, and I think the response that really shocked me was how many people commented on that post, thank you for the stand I was taking. It was really just eye-opening as to how much more we can do to come alongside the Black communities in our lives to take a stand with them. As you guys just heard, I have a toddler at home, so the logistics that come with marching are pretty much impossible for me, even though as much as I would love to be out there with a mask on, marching and demonstrating, like, my life doesn't allow for that. But it felt like, okay, I can still do my part. I still can find the part that I can play in a fight for equality for Black communities and my Black friends.
No, I mean, it was really powerful. I always say, your story is someone else's survival guide. And then the more we hold on to our stories and don't share them, we're not serving. And so a story not shared doesn't serve. And so the fact that you eloquently, post that, write that post and share it in inclusive communities as to what's possible, because I personally have spoken to people who are not willing to take that stand. Like, well, I have employees and this is my business and I don't want to lose the money. And, even though they have a Black Lives Matter sign in their lawn, or they're sharing stuff on social media, they're not, brave enough yet. They don't have the courage enough yet to actually take a powerful stand, or that next step of a stand. And I'm not saying that their heart's not in the right place, but that's a huge, bold, courageous statement. And I mean, courageous act that you did. And one of the things that I help my clients with in high performance is how to really take courageous stands for yourself and for others, and take bold action towards your dreams and goals. So you took this bold action, you shared it. Tell me what the aftermath has been for you now.
Well, as of today, I have 3 new clients who I connected with because of that post, and the income has been completely replaced. And they are 3 wonderful clients who are all doing amazing work. They are doing, and our values are in alignment. And so it's such a joy to work with them every single day. And it's, it wasn't necessarily an easy transition, but it's one that was 100% worth it. And I think for the business owners who are struggling because they need the finances, I once heard somebody say that you can't be a feminist and be broke. And I think that the same, applies to allyship. You can't be an ally and be broke. So shore up your business financially in a way that you can take these stands. I typically like to keep 3 or 4 months worth of expenses ahead of time, like saved up in my business bank account.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, you know what, if I need to say to a client, sayonara, I have the time, I have the cushion built in to go connect with other people and find clients or work with other people who do align with those values.
COVID has scared so many people and has affected their bottom line. But, to your point, the mental energy that you save, like part of high performance is really, creating abundance in your mental energy and physical stamina, and having habits and practices that generate vibrant mental energy and physical stamina. However, when you have clients who are a drain on you, part of that mental energy is really surrounding yourself with people that help you generate that energy, that aren't a drain or a pull on the energy stores that you have and that you're generating, and really can be depleting of all the energy that you've stored up. And so, the fact that you feel lighter, your heart feels full, and you have now clients that you enjoy working with is a testament as to how powerful taking a bold stand, how powerful that is for manifesting what you want in your life and really staying true to that. And the fear that holds people back from actually doing that is powerful, though. And you don't really want to discount it, but I love what you're sharing about how important your energy is to you. I mean, you're a mom of a toddler. You need probably 10 times more energy than a person who does not have a toddler at home because they will give you a run for your money. But, I used to tell my children, if mommy's not happy, nobody in the house is happy. There needs to be a concerted effort to keep mommy happy. And part of what you're doing, the choice that you have, is aligning yourself and working with clients that add value to you, add energy to you, help you generate more energy for them. And so I think it's just beautiful what you've done, Danielle. And I want to just acknowledge and appreciate you for that.
Thank you. I was speaking with a friend recently just to touch on your, on energy. And she was trying to decide like how she's going to build her career and whatnot. And I said, I'll call her Becky. I said, Becky, it's like you're in a locked room and you've got a chair in the room. Are you going to waste your time throwing the chair against the metal locked door? Or should you put your energy into busting out the glass window with the chair? And I think so many of us, when we're in a situation where we feel trapped, we think our only option is to break down the door. Like our only option is to keep working with the client, even though it is such a drain. But it's like, you know what, there's a window. And was it necessarily made for a chair to go through it? No. But is this an option that could create a whole lot more opportunity for me? Absolutely. And I think that part of, taking a stand like this is taking a look around and going, okay, what are my windows? That's that quote, when God closes a door, he opens a window. Well, sometimes
I was just thinking The Sound of Music in that, because I've always remembered the first time I heard that was in The Sound of Music with Julianne.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies. And, I love that, really looking for a win-win in the situation. Okay, what worked, what didn't work, what am I committed to? And how strong is that commitment? And so, when you are white and privileged and benefit from the forces of racism, you have the option to either be committed or no, take bold action or no. And which is why I wanted to invite you on here, because you had the option to just kind of swallow it and be in scarcity and be secure with your, making sure your family is taken care of properly in the lifestyle that you're used to. Or you can take a bold commitment for a cause that actually doesn't really, if you look at it, doesn't benefit you directly.
Yeah.
And that's what is powerful about what you did. So how can people get in touch with you to work with you?
Well, if you're interested in working together, you can find information about my services and a contact form on my website, daniellecook.co. I am also on Instagram as Danielle Christine dot the letter C.
Awesome, awesome. And can have you go back and put that in the chat later so people can, because there's got to be a win-win in this situation. And people who do take stands and in spite of the fear that they are facing, do get to manifest and bring in, because you created space to bring in clients that are more aligned to your vision, goals, and values. And that's something I've worked on in my life, to not be in such scarcity that I can't let go, to create room for what I want to bring in. So you are the epitome of that. So thank you. Thank you for being on Coffee and Conversations. Any final words of advice for our viewers?
I would just say for my, fellow business owners who are also white and experience the privilege that comes with being white and benefiting from systemic racism, it's our duty as human beings who believe in the dignity and sanctity of life that we take a stand and do everything that we can in our power to come alongside the Black community in their fight for justice.
Thank you. Thank you for that, my dear. And thank you guys for watching us. And please share in the comment and in the chat what's opened up for you around this conversation that we had this morning about really not letting the white male patriarchal wallets actually carry on the conversation and direct the narrative that we're having around this, and actually direct our decisions on what we do and do not do, and the bold action that we take. And please share this out if you know people that this conversation will benefit, because we want to give people hope. We want to give people encouragement to continue to stand up and do the right thing. And we'll see you next week on Coffee and Conversations, where my guest will be Asa Patterson. I'm having a Black man on next week to share about his experience in a white patriarchal society and how he built his success. So I'll see you all next week. And until then, have an amazing weekend, everybody. Bye.